We will be live for the Cowboys vs. Jags preseason game week 1. It is one of our watch parties. We will have some fun, have some giveaways as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. It is the Cowboys against the Jags to open up the 2023 preseason for Dallas, a home game for the Cowboys. Kickoff set for 5 p.m. Eastern out in Arlington. A potential, can you call it a preseason revenge game when the Noah Brown disaster is still very much fresh in our memory and minds there. Week 1 of the preseason, I think you'll see a slightly different approach from these two teams. I think you'll see some of the Jags starters get a series or two. As for the Cowboys, I'm really not sure how much you will see of the Cowboys starters out there, especially as it relates to Dak Prescott. Mike McCarthy, as of filming, did not clarify one way or the other which route he was planning to go. Said he probably wasn't going to play him, but if you bet, it would be a no, but hadn't committed to it there. And you're probably not going to play Tyron Smith, right? Zach Martin's not going to be out there. I would be surprised if Terrence Steele played. Wouldn't be mad at it, but I'd be surprised if he played. So you're down 3 starters at minimum along the offensive line. I don't know about you guys. I don't think the risk is worth it for Dak to be out there. I don't want to jeopardize an injury that could sink your season a month before it actually gets going. So that could very well lead to some more rust on offense early on in the year. I'm okay with that, as opposed to the downside of potentially losing a key player. So, I think your key guys, we mentioned those guys, Dak, et cetera, Pollard, are probably not going to play, if at all. Maybe someone like a Michael Gallup gets a couple reps to kind of get him fully going after he was off last year. I'm sure we'll see some of Mazi Smith. You're not going to see Micah Parsons, I would assume. But I think your big players are simply not going to be out there for the Cowboys. I think that's the right choice. Now, wins and losses don't matter that much in the preseason. It's about how you get there. It's the journey, not the destination. With that in mind, who do you have winning the first preseason game? Type in your C's for the Cowboys or J for the Jags. It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's break down then what I'm going to be watching for, and I think what many of you are watching for in this game. First and foremost, it is the young running backs. I don't think you'll see Tony Pollard play. I wouldn't even totally rule out maybe a Malik Davis not playing very much. It also might give us an indication if one of those Davis or Dowdle guys doesn't play very much, probably a good sign that guy's the favorite to be RB2 from that perspective. But I think Deuce Vaughn's going to play. I think we'll see at least one, if not both, of Dowdle and Davis get some nice run out there. Hunter Lipke's going to play, I would assume. Again, it's all assumptions at this point. This crazy stuff tends to happen in the preseason. But I want to see what those young guys can do behind a backup offensive line, especially against maybe some starters for the Jags. Malik Davis is the most experienced of the non-Ronald Jones group. He's banged up, by the way. Doubt he plays. He's going to be suspended anyway for the first 2 games. 4.2 yards per carry last year. Small sample size, admittedly. Showed some flashes in the past. Both Davis and Rico Dowdle have their fans within the organization. I would not be surprised if those 2 vets are in the pole position to be RB2, but I also believe there will be a role for Deuce Vaughn. And Deuce Vaughn is very undersized. He's out there playing peekaboo and hide and seek against opposing defense because you can't see the guy. I had a screen grab up on Twitter. It's a little swing pass to kind of a screen, really, of Tyron Smith in front of Deuce Vaughn, and you literally can't see Deuce. Like, he has the ball, and you can't find him because Tyron Smith blocks out the sun and blocks out Deuce Vaughn. He knows how to use his size well. He might get some return reps, by the way. Excited to see all of that. This is like, Deuce Vaughn is the number 1 guy I'm watching this upcoming week. There's also Hunter Lipke, who I don't think he's had his best stuff so far. He's kind of a fullback, H-back hybrid. Needs some work as a blocker. But there is some short yardage stuff. If you want a purely bigger back to be short yardage for you, Hunter Lipke checks off that box. It's a matter of, can he do enough to earn a role ahead of a Dowdle, a Davis, knowing I think Deuce Vaughn's going to make this team, and they're probably not going to carry 5 backs? Lipke has to impress. I think he'd get him on the practice squad, though, if he really had to. But I'm excited to watch those backs. They will run the ball plenty in the preseason. Are your subscriptions draining your wallet? The average person has around 12 paid prescriptions, and they might not even remember subscribing to half of those. I know I had one with Apple TV because once Ted Lasso ends, what's the point? If you have no idea just how much you're spending each month, you need Rocket Money. It's a great app that tracks all of your expenses so you know exactly where your money is going. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the bills you don't want, the subscriptions you don't want anymore with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money does all the work for you. They can even negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys, rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. What to watch for? Number 2, the kicker, singular. It's just Brandon Aubrey left at this stage. Tristan Vizcaino has been released by the organization. He's going to get all the reps in practice this week, get all the kicks and the kickoffs in the first preseason game. If he impresses, great. If he's bad, oh boy, that's not going to sit well with the fan base or the coaching staff. So be honest with me. Do you think Brandon Aubrey is the answer for the Cowboys at kicker? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Sound off in the comments. A lot of us are concerned about the kicker spot, and I get it. You're not wrong. I am also worried about the offensive line depth, which is true for about 28, 29-ish NFL teams. I assume you're not going to play Tyron Smith. You're not going to have Zach Martin present, most likely. You're not going to have Terrence Stout there, I would assume. I don't think you will see much of Tyler Smith and or Tyler Biadasz, maybe a series or two. So it's going to be your backups. Brock Hoffman's working with some of the twos, by the way. Keep an eye on him. Don't sleep on Brock Hoffman right now. Can Josh Ball not be a liability? And it's iron sharpens iron. I want to mention that. But when you are going up against starting caliber linemen like Dante Fowler as the worst option to a certain extent, it's tough to get a good evaluation of these linemen. Matt Farniok, I don't think has had his best. I was hoping he was going to look a little bit better. He also has some tough matchups out there. I think Chuma Edoga has gotten worked a bunch. He's been on the wrong side of a lot of highlights. It's also Micah Parsons he's going up against every day. I think we will get an easier job of evaluating these offensive linemen based on what they do later on. Like, we will get a feel for them in the preseason because they're not playing against the Cowboys starting defensive linemen that are oh so good. So we'll have a better idea of just how good those linemen are or how big of a concern it's going to be. So what player or players, if you want to be an overachiever, are you most excited to watch and see how they perform in the first preseason game? Mazi Smith's a good answer, I'm sure, but let me hear your guys's in the comment section. Number 4, I'm looking at the young defensive backs, which safeties can be a bit tricky to watch in-game. You're not going to have the same, aerial views we'll get on the All-22 when the games actually get going that matter. I doubt we'll see much of any of Trayvon Diggs. Stephon Gilmore, I would almost guarantee, is not going to play. He is a veteran. Deron Bland maybe gets a series. Jordan Lewis is out. So it's going to be a lot of your young guys. Going to be a lot of Nashawn Wright, a lot of Eric Scott, and probably a good amount of Kelvin Joseph. And I think Scott makes this team as the recent draft pick, but Joseph has to impress. Although Joseph is younger than Eric Scott is by like a full year almost, he's on his last chance. The team was mad at him last year. Nashawn Wright wasn't that impressive either. I think he's been better in camp, but Joseph probably has the edge on special teams, which also a good time to mention this. keep an eye on, if as best as we can, I'll probably have to do it like 2 days later once we get the actual snap counts and stuff, because it's tough to track in-game, who these special teamers are out there for both those teams, or for the Cowboys, for first team, kicks, punts, etc. That's a good indication of, hey, these guys are going to start and make the team at the back end of the roster. So when it comes to Kelvin Joseph, does he make the team? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote in the comments. Predictions, I suppose, from that perspective. Does Kelvin Joseph end up making this Cowboys roster? He's not guaranteed it. It's time to earn it for Joseph. Boss Man Fat. The safety room. I doubt you'll see Jaron Kearse. Donovan Wilson's banged up, so he's not going to play. Israel Mukuamu could get some run there. Malik Hooker maybe gets a series, if that. So Marquise Bell, Tyler Coyle, and don't sleep on Wanye Thomas. He's flashed a bit with some injuries at safety. I like what the Cowboys have in this room. I can't believe I'm saying that. It makes me so happy because I love safety play. They've got some good ones. I bet they make some plays. Finally, the wide receiver depth. I would be shocked if the Cowboys played CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Cooks and Gallup get a series, if that. Maybe 2. I don't think you overplay those guys. Jalen Tolbert then will get a lot of run. Simi Fehoko will get a lot of run. Kevontae Turpin, can he contribute on offense? Or is he too valuable as a special teamer to even go out there? We'll see. I bet he gets some chances there. Jalen Brooks has impressed. But we see this every year. The guy that looks good early on in camp, sometimes that doesn't always continue. There's a flash player, preseason legend, or camp legend, and they don't get going from that perspective. So the games matter. That's where Tolbert really fell apart, was last year in the preseason. So far, so good. I want to see it continue in the first preseason game against the Jags.